Republicans who have been speaking on the floor following the House adjournment for the August recess.
I just saw one of the Democrats interviewed on television. The question was, if oil was $10 a gallon and you knew exactly where to get it in Alaska or on the coast, would you drill there? And there was no answer. We think we need to have more sources of energy, use energy more efficiently, and invest in the future. That's all. We want to have that debate. We think those are winning ideas in America today, but for whatever reason, the leaders of this Congress, the Democrat leaders of this Congress, are afraid of those ideas. There's no reason that for any time in the last months, any time in the last 6 weeks that we've been trying to discharge bills to the floor, or any time in the last 5 hours that Republicans have been on the floor waiting for the Democrats to come back, that we couldn't have had a debate on good, comprehensive energy legislation. They said no. They're going to have to live with that no, but so is the country. Now, we wouldn't mind them having to live with that no, but we don't want the country to have to live with that no. We'd like the Speaker to call the Congress back into session and have this debate. What better thing for the Congress of the United States to be doing in August than solving this energy problem for the American people? We're committed to that. We're going to work hard to do that, and nobody will be working harder than the Chief Deputy Whip, Eric Cantor.
Hey, hey. Hey, hey.
Thank you, Roy. And as you can see, this has been an extraordinary afternoon. We've had almost 50 members talking on the floor to the American people. Meanwhile, the Speaker of this House has shut down the People's House, as you know, kept the cameras out, turned the lights off, turned the mics off, but yet we had a House full of people listening to a parade of members insisting that we open this House back up. You know, this is about two things. One, gas prices are too high. American people are suffering at the pump now. We've got seniors having to make decisions as to whether they buy their medicine or whether they pay for their gas. We've got moms and dads driving carpools, making trips to the grocery store and saving up what they've got to do because they can't afford so many trips anymore. This is about, secondly, the fact that this Democrat-controlled Congress is not working. People see that it is not addressing the most important economic issue facing America, which are gas prices. We're about calling on Speaker Pelosi to open this House back up. And there has been no one more enthusiastic leading the charge than the gentleman from Georgia, Dr. Tom Price.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Eric. I represent the 6th District of Georgia, and every week that we've gone out over the past 9 weeks, I have taken to the floor when we have adjourned and said the Speaker has sent the House home, but the American people want us to continue working. What we did today was continue working. What we did today was give voice to the American people on the biggest issue that they have at home today, and that is the high cost of gasoline. This isn't a difficult problem to solve. Americans can take any challenge and solve any challenge if we work together. It's not a Republican issue. It's not a Democrat issue. It's an American issue. And if given the opportunity, the representatives in the House of Representatives will vote, a majority of them will vote to make certain that we increase supply of American energy for Americans. It's that simple. All we ask for is a vote. All we did today is give voice to the American people. I was honored to organize this along with my good friend from Indiana, Mike Pence.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Will. I'm Mike Pence from the state of Indiana. My voice is somewhat diminished, but my heart is swelling. I've never been prouder of the Republican leadership of this Congress. I've never been prouder of the rank and file. What you saw today with absolutely no notice was a spontaneous demonstration of the passion of this minority to stand up for working families, small business owners, and family farmers, and to fight to lower gasoline prices. Many of our colleagues have talked themselves hoarse on the floor. We wish all the American people could have looked in. But many Americans were in the room. Many were in the gallery. Many joined us on the floor. And they agreed with us. Again and again, the ovations from those in the room were moving. I believe the majority of Americans recognize that it's simply unconscionable for Congress to take a 5-week paid vacation while Americans are struggling under the weight of $4 a gallon gas. And let me also say, under Republican control, we tried many times to give
the American people more access to our domestic reserves, and we failed. But I believe with the advent of $4 a gallon gas, with the pain at the pump that Americans are feeling, for the first time ever, there is a bipartisan majority in the Congress that would give the American people more access to American oil. And we as Republicans are more than willing to marry that with more conservation efforts, more solar, more wind, all of the above. But we believe there is also a pro-drilling bipartisan majority in the Congress. And so we are here. We will stay later. We will be here through the break until either the Speaker calls this Congress back or the President of the United States uses his authority to call a special session of Congress to bring them back and make them work and bring the American people relief at the pump.
I think what we tried to point out today, too, is the hypocrisy of the Democrats. In 2006, they said they had a common-sense plan to bring down the price of gasoline. Where is that plan? We have not seen a plan. We'd be happy to consider their plan, but there isn't one. They said this would be the most open Congress. There would not be a shutting down. Look at what they did today. They adjourned. A small group of us were going to speak today after the regular session, and they shut it down because they didn't want us to speak. But as my colleagues have said, we're here speaking on behalf of the Americans. We are not going to let Speaker Pelosi shut this House down and not let us give voice to what Americans are saying to us. And we know that they're saying it to the Democrats, too. And what we want to urge Americans to do is keep saying it to your Democratic representative, so they will bring pressure on the Speaker. We want to know, what is she afraid of? Why won't she bring up a vote on the American Energy Act? If they're so opposed to it, they can vote it down. They have the majority. But we want action out of the Democrats who control this House.
Good deal. Good deal. Thaddeus McCotter, the Policy Chair.
I think it's important, as someone who comes from Michigan, from the Detroit area, hard-working state, that's facing tough economic times, to tell Speaker Pelosi a very simple message. Working people cannot wait for relief from high gas prices. The Democratic Party says that they support the little person, the working people. They did not support them today as they adjourned to go on their 5-week paid vacation. We work for the people of our districts. We do not get to vacation at their expense. All we ask is quite simply this: is that for the senior citizen that is worried that this winter they're going to have to choose between freezing and eating, for the single mother who is worried that she can't afford to drive her children to daycare, for the person who's working in a steel plant or a car supplier's factory that is worried about losing their job because the price of energy is going to put their business under, we say to Speaker Pelosi, if you truly represent these salt-of-the-earth Americans, you will let us have a vote on a bill that we believe has a bipartisan majority. Because if she continues to treat this as an issue between Democrats and Republicans, she's going to injure the vast majority of working Americans. And we urge her to honor the responsibility as a Speaker of the House, to allow the will of the majority to prevail in a free and open vote. And we are convinced that the vast majority of Republicans, as well as Democrats, will pass this legislation on behalf of the people we serve.
There we go. Our Conference Secretary, John Carter.
I'm John Carter from Texas. You know, what we saw today is a pretty amazing thing.